Today we're talking with Bob Greer. He's a Harrison County native and currently serving on Bridgeport City Council. He is seeking a second term to represent the people of Bridgeport. Bob, Bridgeport has seen significant success and growth in some areas. Do you believe that growth is being managed well? What would you do differently?
I have no qualms with the way that the growth is being managed at the present time. I believe that the current membership of the city council and the city manager, who actually is the one that manages the money, is doing a good job. We have a budget of about $12 to $13 million at the moment. A lot of that is arriving in the form of what we consider one-time tax dollars due to the construction, and we're trying to match the one-time monies coming in with the one-time expenditures. So we do a lot of infrastructure growth development with those dollars and try not to utilize that money for reoccurring expenses like payroll expenses, etc. So I believe that the growth is well managed. As far as how I would do it differently, I see my role as that of a board of a director to the city and the city manager. And so as they bring forth new ideas and they come forward with a perspective, it's my role to provide a check balance to that growth. And I think that I'm doing a good job at that. At least the people that elected me 4 years ago have yet to complain about that management style. So thank you.
Bob, what are your views on government transparency? Is city government open enough to residents?
Transparency is the law. In West Virginia, that's outlined in statute as to what portions of our meetings are going to be open and those portions of the meetings that are not open. Based on my professional training, I recognize and understand why certain portions of meetings can't be discussed. The city is a party to litigation. We can't have strategy meetings, so to speak, or status reports from our attorneys be published in no disrespect to the newspaper or the other media. Likewise, personnel decisions are exempt from that and are subject to appropriately. It's not anybody's business what disciplinary actions are to be taken until those actions become final. And so I think that there's a balance that the law allows, and I think that the city of Bridgeport and the way that it's administered there, at least, allows for both the transparency that's expected and allows for the city to operate as it should under the circumstances.
Bob, are you pleased with the city's current direction? How would you improve it?
I have been generally pleased with the direction of the city over the last 4 years. As I was in the years before that. When I ran, I wanted to keep Bridgeport on track, moving forward as a progressive city. One of the things that I think I provide over maybe some of the other candidates is that I've been a resident of Bridgeport for 20-some years, but likewise I've lived and worked in other parts of the state and the country, and I still see some areas where Bridgeport can improve. It is an ideal place, I think, in the current economy. People can move in. It has a lot of the amenities that you would expect, but the city can provide some additional support to their citizens. One of those things that I pushed for this past year that is the reconstitution of Bridgeport's Arts Council, because Bridgeport was very pro-athletic, pro-recreation, and we seem to be missing a component in my mind. It's not that I don't support those other things. I do and have with my votes, but I see that we need to have a broader spectrum of things that our citizens can count on the city for.
Bob, do you support the fire fee as it currently implemented? What changes would you make?
Let me clarify my answer to begin with, that the fire fee as it applies to residents outside of our city limits is currently subject to litigation, and so I'm not going to comment on active litigation. I don't believe that would be appropriate, but I will tell you that I as well as I believe 5 of the other 8 candidates did in fact vote to adopt that fire fee. There is a fire fee as it applies to the residents collectively, and it was adopted before I got onto the city council, and it was somewhat controversial at that time. I as a business owner, was subjected to a higher fee than the residents of the city, as my business is located there inside the city limits. And I had to evaluate whether or not that was fair. And I believe, in retrospect and as on a going forward basis, that there's a balance between the users of that fire fee and what it gives back to them in the form of reduced insurance premiums and speedier service to the cause or to the fire. Or actually the largest percentage is not necessarily fire, but emergency services, medical. And I think the city's doing a great job of that. We've expanded their budget with the fire fee and have put all of that new fire fee money back into the fire department itself. They have a larger paid staff now, as we found it harder and harder to find volunteers who would be willing to volunteer their time because of their own professional constraints, typically, where they had jobs out of the city and couldn't get to the fire station when the whistle blew. So I think the fire fee is a necessary and important component to funding a very vital portion of the city's budget.
Bob, on June 11th, when the residents of Bridgeport go to the polls, what makes you the right candidate?
I would like to believe that I'm the right candidate because of some of my background and some of my professional skills, as well as the fact that I've been an active member of the Bridgeport community before becoming elected to the Bridgeport City Council for an extended period of time. My business background, the fact that I worked in a setting where I dealt with the management of large multi-million-dollar budgets, gives me an edge over some other of the candidates as it relates to handling Bridgeport's city budget. I have training both as academically and in experience as an attorney, and with this upcoming election I will be the only attorney on the ballot. And although the city pays for an attorney to be at every meeting, it's sometimes good to have another perspective, and I think I bring that to this body. I have likewise been active in the Bridgeport community, as well as the Harrison County community, through the Associated Businesses of Bridgeport and the Bridgeport Chamber of Commerce. My clientele, as well as my own business, gives the business people of Bridgeport a voice on the Bridgeport City Council, and they're often the least represented and most taxed group in the city limits. So from that standpoint, I think I'm unique among the candidates. Likewise, I have raised 4 children, and my wife and I have lived in Bridgeport since 1990. And I think that the community as a whole, from every perspective, I've had an opportunity to see it as both a parent of a small child, a parent of an active little leaguer or soccer player, and now as an empty nester. And so I think I have an opportunity to bring all those voices to the city council. But I think the most important portion is that I listen by training, and I take those comments that I receive as a candidate or as a sitting member of the city council seriously, and try and incorporate those into the day-to-day operations of the city.